How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. YouTube Live. This is yours truly, Rama Screen. Today is Friday, March 22nd, 2019. A week after South by Southwest has ended. 2 weeks after South by Southwest started, which was my first South by Southwest experience ever. Oh, I miss it already, man. But let's get right to the business at hand. I'm here to give you my live review of Doom Patrol Season 1, Episode 6, titled Doom Patrol Patrol. Now, that is the signature style or the trademark of this show is that the episode titles end with patrol. Like I think the previous episode was Paw Patrol, referring to the puppy or the dog. And I believe in previous episodes there were the Cult Patrol and Donkey Patrol and Puppet Patrol, and now we see Doom Patrol Patrol. So again, just like with all my episode recaps and my TV reviews, this too contains spoilers. So heads up, you've been warned. This video contains spoilers. This review is only mainly for those of you, my fellow DC Universe fans, who have also watched today's latest episode. So okay, let's break it down here. I want to give you a context. So Mr. Nobody says to Jane, Crazy Jane, Doom Patrol, like inserting it into her brain, into her mind. It's like, ooh, what's this Doom Patrol? So she, along with Robot Man and Cyborg, come across this old video of Doom Patrol back in the day. Apparently, because as you know, Doom Patrol is not just about these characters that we currently see in the show. Um, it's a team that I think Dr. Niles or the Chief started. So as you know, the characters can come and go. Um, they're not really imprisoned in that mansion of Chief's mansion. So over the years, there have been different, I guess, characters, and the original one, the original Doom Patrol, are the guys that we see in this episode in that old footage. Um, and so Rita Farr recognized it, right? She recognizes it because she's lived forever. she's she's been around since 1950s. Um, and she has a fling with one of the original Doom Patrol, and I think his name is Mento. Now, again, I did not grow up reading Doom Patrol comic books. I did not grow up a fan of Doom Patrol, so I'm still learning as I go about the characters and the mythology, or I guess you could say the world of Doom Patrol. I read that. I read about Mento and also the other character that shows up in this episode, his partner Celsius, and the third one is Lodestone. Their alter egos are Rhea, Arani, and Steve Dayton. So, excuse me. So again, their superhero names are Lodestone, Celsius, and Mento. Now, the this episode takes creative liberties. It deviates significantly from the Mento, the Lodestone, and the Celsius that were in the comic books. If you read it up on DC Wiki or whatever other source, you'll find or you'll discover or learn about their origins, their abilities, especially Mento with his psychic, kind of like Charles Xavier sort of ability. Um, but the stories are different than the one presented in this episode. So in this episode, we see um, Crazy Jane transports her along with Larry and Rita to the past, to this place that was supposed to be, Doom Patrol was going to be there. And it looked like, at first it looks like a really nice academy, like the Umbrella Academy, where or the X-Men, School for the Gifted, where you see our Doom Patrol characters in their normal clothes teaching kids who have powers, or meta kids. So that's the setting. Like, oh, it's a nice looking school, and then they talk to the administrator or the headmaster, and that's when it starts to unravel some more, because Larry gets separated. He ends up getting a tour from Celsius Arani, while Crazy Jane talks to the headmaster, and at the same time, Rita Farr, aka Elastigirl, talks to Steve Dayton, Mento. And you know at first that something's fishy, not just because of the glitches, because usually the glitches suggesting that their reality is not actual reality, but also because, like, wow, after all these years, you guys also don't grow old. I get Rita Farr, but really, Celsius, Mento, you guys still look the same. Um, well, I mean, if the argument is that Crazy Jen transported them to the past, like which past, which era? Um, but they look like they never age a day. So that kind of starts out like, oh, something's up here. Something's really off. Um, and turns out, as the revelation happens in this episode, is that Mento has been using his telekinetic or psychic ability to pretty much alter their current reality to make it look like that school, that academy, for the gifted, that nice looking, retro looking place where everybody's happy. And turns out it's not like that. The actual reality is that the place is a dump. The place is a shithole, and that Mento, Lordstone, and Celsius, they're actually really, really old. Like, time has passed. They're bound to wheelchairs, and they're bound to their beds. So that when that happens, like, that makes more sense. Um, Mento has psychic or telekinetic ability. Um, I think Lordstone, her ability is she can control objects. So and Arani Celsius, her ability is fire and ice, which is pretty cool. She can control both. Usually we see like Captain Cold, or just like handling ice only, or what's her name, Mick from Legends of Tomorrow. He only handles fire, but she can handle both, and that's awesome. Now, um, I love this episode. You know why, right? You know why exactly. If you've been hanging around with me or been watching my videos and been following me for a while, you would know, because I've mentioned to you many, many times, that I love stories about asylums, about hallucinations, about, you know, altered reality, or things that are not really there. Um, and so that's how it's done here in this episode. And it's funny because Larry also gets that Shining vibe to it. He's like, oh my god, we just found ourselves in the Shining. And it's true, it does look like it's like the place looks like it turns into the Overlook Hotel. And and that's part of why I like The Shining. The Shining is like, things are not what they appear to be in The Shining and in this episode. And I love that. I love in Titans. There's a couple of episodes that are like that too. One of which, when they try to bust Raven's mom out of that mental asylum. Remember that one? And I think Robin got drugged, and so he's seeing things. He's seeing his younger self. It's trippy. It's a psychedelic shit. So I love it. I love it. That's why I like this episode. Um, because it's things, things would pop up that are unexpected, and it's just like, whoa. Um, I mentioned to you last week that after 5 episodes, now it's 6 episodes, I don't know how many more I can take about existential soul journey, because it seems like all the episodes, even this one, still are all about existential soul journey, the characters' existential soul journey, like their introspective journey, reflecting on their past, reflecting on their regrets, reflecting on woulda, coulda, shoulda. What if I had, what if I made a different move back then? I would not have been in this, body of a robot. Or like if I had been nicer, I would not have, found myself in that river. And yeah, I gotta tell you, I thought that I would get sick and tired by it by now. Uh, but no, in this episode, it really speaks to these personal demons that these characters have. I'm talking about Rita, Cyborg, Robot Man, Larry, and Crazy Jane. There's obviously from this episode, obviously that there are still some more layers that you can peel on that matter of existential soul journeys. There's still some more that can be explored, and so I welcome that. I wasn't bored or sick and tired by it. I actually find myself very fascinated by it. Especially in this one, we see some flashbacks of Rita Farr when she struggles to find work after she after the whole incident where when she absorbs that thing in the river that turns her into this blob monster. And she goes for a job, and the studio head is like Harvey Weinstein, trying to pull a, like, oh, you want a job, you got to give me some sexual favor. And then she inadvertently, or maybe purposely, kills him in the process. Um and I stopped to wonder when I was watching that. I was like, wow. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, right, is the one that got caught. I mean, just imagine Harvey Weinstein got caught, and it's publicly, it's highly publicized. But imagine the many, many other studio execs or studio heads over the years, since the dawn of Hollywood, 1920s, that have done that casting couch practice, and they got away with it. So Harvey Weinstein is the only one that, it gets publicly shamed, as he deserves it. I hope he rots in jail, or gets sentenced to jail. But imagine the many others over the years that practice that method actually work. Um, we just heard recently about Kevin Sujihara from WB. He steps down because apparently he allegedly offers this actress that he sleeps with auditions, in return for sex. So, but Rita Farr, she's not having it, man. She's not having it. And good for her. I mean, I get that you can probably view her, because she has this arrogance about her. Like, oh, I'm the greatest actress. Like I'm elegant. I'm like, oh, you're beneath me. You can look that as a negative, but in this case, it helps her. Her pride actually helps her. Like, I don't know what am I like, how desperate am I, stooping down to have sex with this old fart. And she's pissed, and of course she kills him. And so yeah, that's a cool thing. The tragedy really lies in the relationship between Rita and Steve Dayton, Mento. Steve Dayton is played by actor Will Kemp. I love this arc in this episode. It's so, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Heartbreaking, I guess you could say, because for once you kind of see a glimpse of Rita truly happy. You can tell throughout these previous 5 episodes, like, she's just not happy, and it's compounded with the death of that teenager that that got all that manuscript and uh, tattooed on his body. Remember, he perished, he vanished into thin air, and that made her extra sad. She's already sad before. She's like discouraged, like we're not heroes. What are you doing? Just like give up already. I like, and she always like stays in her room, longing for the glory days, the old glory days of the 1950s when before the incident happened. But her time with Steve Dayton in this episode, you could see that just glow, man, at the corner of her eye. She's really happy. And so that makes what happens or what transpires between them even more tragic. Um, Obviously, Dayton or Mento is a dick for breaking or his word because he promised not to mess or to actually read her mind or read into her secrets, and he broke his own rules, so he's a dick for that. Um, and he's also a dick for creating that altered reality. Like, dude, you're lying to her. This is not real. Whatever this is, um, this is a facade, a mirage. So I don't like Mento in this one, but I do find it interesting the way the writers Mento, Celsius, and Lordstone for this show. Because if you read DC Wiki pages, um, it's so far different. I think I read about Mento, and Mento is married to Rita Farr, Elastigirl, and that in the comic books, Elastigirl gets killed, and Mento gets, he goes out for revenge, something like that. So the storyline is completely turned on its head for just to service this is Doom Patrol, this show. The story for Mento and Celsius and Lordstone get I guess you can say tweaked just for this show, and it feels sad seeing them in their really frail state as old people. In the end, you see an image of the headmaster, like I guess at one point they're like, "Oh, let's take a photo shoot together," like back in the day, and you see our three superheroes with their superhero outfit, and then the camera pans back, and then of course the color palette turns into dark blue again, which is our current reality. And then instead of like camera projector, you see the headmaster actually, is about to give the pills, the medication, to our three heroes who are now frail and just they're just out of it. Now, the reason why Mr. Nobody wants Crazy Jane to find that place, to find the original Doom Patrol, is exactly what the headmaster says nearing the end, in that Mr. Nobody wants this current Doom Patrol to know what happened to the people who tries to stop Mr. Nobody. So the original Doom Patrol tried to stop Mr. Nobody, and guess what happened? Guess what happened to them? Mr. Nobody messed with their heads, and now they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. They're crazy, they're senile, they don't know themselves anymore, and they're a danger to themselves and others. So Mr. Nobody's like, hey, don't try to follow me or try to find Chief or Dr. Niles. I have him. Don't try to stop me, or else you're gonna end up just like them. And it does kind of give you pause and to wonder, like, holy crap, Dr. Niles must be living with this burden of responsibility, knowing that these three original Doom Patrol, now they're all crazy. And in a way, I kind of have something to do with that, because I kind of lead them to try to take down Mr. Nobody. Um, which is probably understandable if he rarely or even never visits them at all. But that does make, I think, Crazy Jane at least think, like, is this pursuit of trying to find Chief and take down Mr. Nobody, is it worth it? Is it worth what might happen to us. Having seen what happened to the original Doom Patrol. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Um, it does sound extra intimidating, or it makes Mr. Nobody even more invincible. Like it plays with your self esteem. If you're trying to like be empowered to take him down. Now, if I were Crazy Jane, now I'd be like, whoa. I guess I'm not that powerful after all. If Mister Nobody can do this shit to these guys, um, so we'll see. We'll see about that. That's why I said earlier that apparently this the whole character's existential soul journey, introspection stuff. Apparently, there's still some more layers that you can still peel about that, and because of that, I'm not sick and tired of it just yet. So before I end this review, I also want to comment real quick about Robot Man and Cyborg. Cyborg gets rebooted by his dad, Silas Stone, and Robot Man has a moment with Victor's dad, an argument moment, like a tension. He's saying something about like, what do you know about parenting? Like, I worry about my kids. Do you know about that? Do you know anything about that? The Robot Man's like, yeah, I'm a parent. Um, and it's in the show's own weird, funny kind of way. I guess that's the episode letting you know that, hey, Robot Man and Cyborg are bonding. Cyborg helps Robot Man with hacking into his daughter's social media face hole or Facebook face hole, and Robot Man's sticks up for Cyborg. It's like, hey, you got to give your kid a break. He says that to Cyborg's dad. So this, so there'll be episodes like last time. It was Robot Man and Crazy Jane in Nurnheim, and then the others have their own thing. And then in the previous episode, remember that there was when Mr. Nobody messes with the heads of Rita Farr, Cyborg, and Larry Trainer. Cyborg sees his mom dying or burning in front of her, in front of him. Um, so that's how the episodes go until they become a team. You'll keep seeing like, okay, we're gonna take we're gonna pair up these two, and then these three will go there with their own arc, and then we're gonna mix up these other characters, and then we're gonna have the other three go over there. So until you as an audience, you as a fan, get to really really know these characters, especially fans like me who did not grow up reading Doom Patrol comic books, and I'm still learning as I go. So that's a method that I think is effective, and it's a good strategy on the writer's part. Um, yeah, by the end of this episode, you can tell Rita Farr now, as she takes down her old posters, her old photos from the Hollywood Golden Age era. It seems that she's ready to move on. She's ready to move forward. She's like, oh my god, look at Mento. Sh- Mento is stuck in the past. His psychic ability keeps bringing him back to the days were. And so I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like this person who keeps longing for the past to return when obviously it will never. And which is why the the song by the end of the episode, the song accompanying it, when everybody's looking at the reflection, and with the somber mood, and like thinking, Robot Man thinking about his daughter, and the song in this episode is it's such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. It's such a perfect day. Glad that I spend it with you. Ah, what a classic. What a classic. It's fitting. It's so appropriate for the episode. You could tell that These characters are so jacked up, so messed up, so fucked up. They're so, they like Rita, Robot Man, Larry. They had a life, man. They had a full life. Yeah, sure, they have their secrets, right? Cliff Steele, Robot Man, cheats on his wife. Larry cheats on his wife with a guy, and Rita, of course, is an unlikable, stuck up actress. So, but they had a life. They had things going for them, and now they're kind of stuck in this prison of a body that never ages, um, and longing for that perfect day. Is like, oh, maybe that perfect day was in the past, or maybe I can make a new perfect day up ahead of me, moving forward. So, and Mentos like still like, oh, that perfect day when my friends and I were wearing the superhero suits and we did the photo shoot. That's our perfect day. We all desire our version of perfect day out there, and something that keeps us hanging on, something that keeps us hanging on. And yeah, love it, love it. What a fantastic episode. I hope you guys give Doom Patrol a chance. It airs every Friday on DC Universe. It's DC's digital streaming service. Please, please, please go watch it. I hope it has been renewed. But if it hasn't, please, guys, show Doom Patrol some love so so that it gets renewed. Okay, you guys. Again, it's on DC digital streaming service, DC Universe, every Friday. And thank you for tuning in on this live stream review of Doom Patrol Season 1, Episode 6, titled Doom Patrol Patrol. What did you think? Have you seen the episode? Have you seen today's episode? And what did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Press that like button, ring that bell. And if you can help support me, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this.